Hi, so I had actually made a long version of this story, and it ended up being about 7 minutes long. And I thought, oh, that's a little bit long to just sit up and watch somebody talking with kind of nothing else going on. It's not super interesting of the story. Well, it's well for me, But anyways, so I thought I'm just gonna actually make a shorter video about the main points of delivery. I'm gonna make the compliment sandwich or whatever, where I say some of the great parts about it, then the worst parts about it, and then the best parts again. So the best part coming into it was just knowing, because I did get induced, the mindset that, okay, you don't have to worry about the scariness of your water breaks just at some random moment, in the middle of the night when you're at home and you have to rush to the hospital and hopefully you get there, being that we are an hour away from where my baby's birth took place. So being induced kind of took that worry out. And then the next worry that it kind of took out originally was the feeling of you're kind of being observed and they're aware of your health conditions and stuff. So I guess that would be positive, just kind of feeling like you're going to even have a little bit of control over your baby's birthday. But the negatives are a lot of that goes out the window because they're watching you, but at the same time, I felt like I didn't have a lot of control. And I think that was probably the most negative thing about what just being there was, I actually wanted a C-section, and they were like, no, you're going to push, we're going to try for a vaginal, it's healthier for you. And so my labor was 36 hours, even though I was induced. And so it was rather unpleasant. I will say that the contractions is actually a good point here. The contractions to me were actually like not as bad as I would have thought. Really, the epidural was actually the worst that I experienced overall with labor, just because of the pressure and kind of getting the needle inserted multiple times. And you may not have that experience, but I think that if I could talk to myself before going in, I would say, not necessarily if you wanted a C-section, decide now, but of course I believe that you can conquer natural birth. It's very possible, I think, even if you have CP. For me, with the epidural and not being able to feel and not really knowing how to bear down with my legs, what didn't happen. I asked for a C-section and they said no. 11 hours later, they actually had to give me one because my baby's heart rate was dropping. So, I mean, it was kind of a fiasco, and it was frustrating because it felt like, they sort of set you up in the situation, and then it starts to kind of falter, and then it's like, oh, now we have to do this. And it's like, yeah, but I asked you for that already. And I can't stand damage control. I'm more for prevention when it comes to medical procedures. Anyway, don't let any of that scare you. I think you're going to do great. I think that just keeping a level head and more so keeping yourself calm. I think that having a birth plan helps you. I think that only having who you absolutely really want in the delivery room will help you. Those are my tips. And then aside from that, the next thing I would suggest is really just voicing your concerns. If you have any, don't wait until your baby's here to be like, hey, here's my point. I was concerned about privacy, but I didn't put it on the forefront because I'd never stayed in the hospital before, but I felt absolutely bombarded by the staff. And aside from the epidural, to me, that was the worst part, is these people coming in and out and in and out of my room. And it was $1,200 a night or something like that for the room. So, but I didn't know that either at the time. So it was just really frustrating to have that moment of me trying to be with my little newborn be very invasive. So I would definitely voice that you have privacy. If you have privacy concerns, I would definitely voice that beforehand. You may not experience any of the things that I went through, but I mean, to be honest, there was a physical therapist there that's like, I just want to make sure you can take care of the baby. Be prepared just in case to deal with ignorance. You might not. You might have a wonderful experience in a wonderful hospital with surrounded by wonderful people. You very well might, and I hope you do. But just in case, be aware of what can happen. And, I think you'll do fine. I'm not even worried about you, actually. It's more like how people are going to react to you that is more of a thing that I had to deal with personally. But I think you're going to do great. If I could have done a home birth, I'm not saying I wouldn't have. I actually looked into it, but I hadn't found someone interested in helping with that journey. So this was supposed to be a shorter version of the story, but it's actually probably just as long. So sorry. Excuse my appearance. I look kind of busted today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I hope I answered all your questions. And if not, I don't mind.